Alright guys, we're going to talk about pruning pine, spruce, and fir. But first let's do a little morphology characteristic here. Pines, right? Needles are born in clusters, right? They have a fascicle. So this is a 5-needle pine, 5 needles per fascicle. This happens to be white pine, right? So regarding growth characteristics, notice there's no buds on the stem, only at the terminal, right? So if you remember pines, we can date them, you can age them by these whorls that they grow. So this was last year's where all those buds were clustered. And then we had the terminal come up and then all the laterals grew these branches. There's no buds in here. If I prune to the middle of this, I would have no place for this to grow from, right? So if I prune this off, where's the growth gonna come from? I just left an 8-inch stub. These will still grow and they'll be fine, but you can't prune pine that way. Any idea what these things are? We'll talk about it later. Okay, so that's pine. Regarding fir, right? So fir, the needles are flat. And when they pull them off, they have little suction cups. Remember all this from morphology, right? So this is a fir. Look, the cones were facing upward. They fell apart. But what I point out to you now is if we look at the branch, there are lateral buds, right? So theoretically, I could come back and cut this to here. And unlike the pine that I'd leave a stub, I now would have growth coming here, right? Remember, we rarely ever have to prune pine, spruce, or fir. This would be if I had a small evergreen nursery or something that I wanted to do. So here's another one. Now this is our spruce, right? So spruce, the needles are square and they tear, right? So when I pull them off, whoops, pulled the whole thing off. When I pull them off, they're gonna have pieces of phloem with them, right? So they're square and they tear. And of course I just ripped off my terminal. Oh, no, there it is. So the other difference here is notice the lateral buds, right? So I got all those lateral buds on spruce, right? So again, I could cut back and as long as there's a bud there, I'm gonna get growth. So again, the difference between pine, spruce, and fir. Pines only have buds at the terminal end. Spruces and firs have lateral buds. That's one reason when they're young, spruces and firs, oh boy, spruces and firs tend to grow real nice and pyramidal. The last thing I want to show you over here regarding evergreens like this, all pine, spruce, and fir. Remember, you can never cut into old wood. Don't mind the jet. So if I go down here, I have some buds. Here's a little bud. But down here, old wood on pines is pine, spruce, and fir. There's no green. If I were to cut to any place past here, there would just be a big long stub, right? Even here that I have a bud to cut to that, odds are that wouldn't do much. So the farthest I would probably cut here would be in this range. If I wanted to reduce this back a bit, I could cut it to here and then this branch would kind of take over, right? Never cut to old wood on pine, spruce, and firs. Okay, that's good.